What's up guys, Toy Bro back again for another Marvel Legends review, and we are officially wrapping up the Netflix / Marvel Knights wave of figures by taking a look at the Build-A-Figure here. So this is our Man Thing, not to be confused with Swamp Thing, and he's basically Marvel's Swamp Thing, but for the most part, this is a pretty cool figure. I do have my kind of nitpicky things to say about it. First of which is I don't understand why he's the Build-A-Figure in this wave, but it seems like they're trying to give us what they can give us in certain waves. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but I was really confused when they said that Man Thing was going to be in this assortment because none of these figures have anything to do with Man Thing. I mean, he was a Thunderbolt once, so he kind of has some correlation to some of these characters that way. But that's pretty, that's stretching it a bit, I think. So let's take a look at kind of the basics here. He's a big figure, but there's not tons to talk about. So we have got head on a ball, but it really doesn't have much movement outside of rotation because of the hunched nature of the back, shoulders, and neck and all that. Arms can go pretty much about this far. They can't really go any higher than this. It's about 90 roughly. And they can swivel all the way around. We have a bicep swivel. We've got a single joint at the elbow there. We have hinges at the wrists as well as rotation. He has a crunch at the abs so he can kind of hunch over, which is good because that's kind of how he is in general. He's kind of hunched over always. And they can go back a decent bit so he can be standing fully erect. But I don't know. That's really not the Man Thing way. He's usually hunched over. And that's part of why he is sculpted this way as well, because that's just how he is. He's got a waist twist, which works just fine. Legs can go out a decent bit for a bigger character. They go forward almost 90. You have to twist them a little bit. And they go back a little bit. We've got thigh cut. And I don't care for the thigh cut on this figure because there is tons of line work on this guy. Sculpted line work. And move it once and everything's broken. We've got double joints at the knee. And they go back pretty far. There is a hinge and a rocker at the ankle. So it's pretty standard stuff. Like I said, there's not tons to talk about there. The big thing about this guy is sculpt, though. So he has tons of sculpted detail. This guy is 100% unique as far as I know. We might see some of these parts, maybe the feet, in the upcoming Sasquatch BAF that was announced, because that was just announced. I'm pretty far behind on this guy, obviously. But there is just a lot of line work everywhere. Everything is like a vine or a leaf or a little mushroom or like a lily pad or something on him because, you know, he's made up of plant matter. The roots for the brow and the nose and these tendrils that hang off, they're a separate piece, so they float outside of the face. So they're painted separately as well, so it's very nice. We've got those sculpted eyes in there, so he always looks like he's kind of staring into your soul. But I like the design of him. I wish the hands were different. They are basically mirror images of each other. You can see the hands are basically just kind of gripping hands, which is fine. I don't know what else I would want for him, but maybe something a little bit more unique, just because he doesn't have any accessories, nor does he need them. But it would give him maybe a little more flair. As far as paint goes, he has a bit of a wash all over the figure. He's obviously green. The roots are painted brown. They have a wash in them. And he's got kind of lighter shaded yellow and brown hues in some of the more dangly bits here. So, well, like here. And then on his fur, would you call it fur? Vines maybe? Grass? Weeds? Something hanging off of his forearms. And then on his feet. And then on the back, there's a little bit of a darker wash up here in the top. He also has this weird peg hole, which I don't understand why that's there. Maybe something with injection molding or something like that. I don't know. I don't presume to know, but it just strikes me as odd. So he's painted pretty well. He could use more paint, and I've seen some customizers really go to town on this guy, make him look extra cool. But for right out of the box, I mean, he's pretty cool, and I'm okay with the paint that we did get. But if you're apt to do it, another layer of a different color would bring him out a little more. So articulation is what you expect for a Build-A-Figure. Sculpt is definitely there. I mean, very cool. And then paint's pretty much there for the most part. My only real gripe about this guy is that he's really loose. So, like, I'm barely moving him, and look what he's doing here. So the leg joints are really loose, and the crunch is pretty loose. So, like, he flops around a bit, and it presents a problem when it comes to actually posing him. I haven't really had an issue where he's going to fall over or anything, but at the same time, it makes me take a few more seconds if I'm going to actually get him posed just a certain way. I don't know if it's unique to me or not. It's probably not. But it's just worth pointing out. And then another thing that is kind of different is that the actual upper body of this guy is actually a piece of rubberized plastic that sits over top of another buck under here. So if you're familiar with like Masters of the Universe classics, and I know quite a few people that watch my videos are, a lot of stuff in that line is a standard buck with a piece of plastic, a rubbery plastic over top of it to avoid having to tool new parts. And this seems kind of similar. Because this is definitely a rubberized piece and it's sitting over top of the chest. It doesn't hinder anything. It doesn't cause a problem. It's just kind of an oddity from my perspective to see in a Marvel Legends figure, so I figure it's worth pointing out. Overall, I really like this guy. I mean, he has his kind of weird problems. He's got that peg hole on his back and he's kind of floppy, but I like the character. I'm partial to Man Thing. I have his first appearance. I've got a handful of some of the older stories, and I don't know why I like this guy. I just do. So I was pretty excited to get him. I still think he's a weird choice for the Build-A-Figure in this wave, but if that's how we got to get him, that's how we got to get him. So I would suggest if you are a fan of, maybe a different kind of character, he's definitely different. He will look, unique on your shelf. And, if you're a fan of Man Thing, this is the way to get him. So go out and get him. That's going to do it for this look at the Build-A-Figure Man Thing from the Marvel Knights / Netflix / whatever it is wave of Marvel Legends. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, everyone.